Good morning, my name is Josh from CyclonesOZ, and today another detailed forecast update coming your way. We're going to recap on the severe weather that slashed New South Wales, parts of Victoria and Tasmania overnight. We'll talk about some heavy rainfall up in the Northern Territory and also over towards far north Queensland, and we have a rain bomb that's expected to develop across Central Australia that I have no clue what to make of, so we'll get to all of that later on in the video. If you are brand new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We're getting closer and closer to 20,000 and the support recently is much appreciated. In fact, over the past 24 hours we have had some heavy rainfall over Tasmania. In fact, Mountain Reid picked up 53mm in the past 12 hours, so some pretty good accumulations there, with some more rainfall expected throughout the course of today as well. And that's just from showers streaming in from the influence of this high pressure system in the Great Australian Bight south of South Australia. Now, this high pressure system is also providing some very cold southeasterly winds, and I'm sure all of you in Victoria and Tasmania are very much sick of these southeasterly to southwesterly winds, and they're keeping temperatures very cold across much of Victoria and New South Wales. Temperatures below zero very frequent across the mountainous areas, but with wind chills down to about -10, in fact some places down to -12, it's feeling a lot colder than the actual temperature. For those out in agricultural New South Wales and Victoria as well, it's going to feel a lot colder than the actual temperature as well. It's low single digits out there already, but with these fresh southeasterly to southwesterly winds, we're seeing feels like temperatures drop well below zero into the mid-morning hours. Temperatures are slightly milder across the New South Wales coastline. They're still pretty chilly around Sydney, only 13 degrees considering the winds there as well. Thankfully those winds have started to die off, however, but we're still looking at gale force winds along a part of the New South Wales coastline down towards Capo Island, Lighthouse and Malakuta, and some gale force winds also being reported into the Bass Strait at Hogan Island, and then into the west coast of Tasmania up at Rosebery, and then down towards Mountain Reid, which is still reporting gale force winds right now. Interestingly enough, Mount Cyclone Island has calmed down significantly from where I expected them to be. Winds of only 30 kilometres down there. That's probably the lightest winds I've seen in a couple of months there. So it is looking a little bit calmer down across Tasmania. It's just that rainfall that's continuously streaming through. But yeah, Mount Reid has picked up a whopping 53mm on a day that they really weren't expected to pick up much. And it just goes to show how quickly those showers across Tasmania can add up. All the severe weather warnings have been dropped. There's still sheep grazier warnings in effect for New South Wales and Victoria, with a risk of losses to lambs and sheep from the cold temperatures and the showers that are moving through. So take extra care with your flock throughout the course of today and into early tomorrow morning, but I believe the impacts and the threat of it are going to slowly ease off as this high pressure ridge weakens off into a system into South Australia and continues to weaken off throughout Tuesday and then into Wednesday. The showers will persist for the west coast of Tasmania, however, with a cold front expected to make passage on Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning, bringing showers and snow, especially Thursday afternoon, down to elevations as low as 200 or 300 metres across the west coast and about 500 metres across the north and into the central parts of Tasmania. So we're going to be seeing a lot of snow throughout the course of Wednesday and Thursday from this weather system here, potentially up to 15 centimetres, and 10 of that could settle. Some good accumulations expected there. The rainfall and the snowfall will slowly ease off Friday morning before another violent cold front, by the looks of things, sweeps up from the south Friday evening. Rain and snow continuing through Saturday with the passage of another cold front. Sunday is expected to ease off, but the rain and snow does still continue throughout the early parts of next week, when the forecast does become a little bit more complicated. Victoria, interestingly enough, misses out on the majority of this. They're expecting some light showers and snow accumulations across the alpine areas, with a passage of kind of just clouds that are going to be moving through, and some of the higher elevations around Bendigo above sort of 600 metres could also receive some showery activity as well. The potential for some light snow flurries, nothing settling however, and the south coast of Victoria, especially into the southwest coast, could also receive some showers over the next 10 days. However, rainfall accumulations there aren't looking too grand on the forecast. This is a forecast over the next 7 days. You can see rainfall accumulations whopping across Tasmania up to 150mm once again. We've got a lot of winter weather still to track down there as we move deeper into September. Some good accumulations as well along much of the west coast, between 50 and 100mm. Accumulations between 30 and 60mm for the central plateau, and then up into towards the Ben Lomond National Park, they rise again to about 50mm up there. Hobart expecting a healthy 30mm. Launceston about the same as well, between 10 and 30mm over the next 7 days. The majority of that's going to be coming through from those fronts on Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Victoria as well expecting a good helping of rainfall. It's nothing too crazy. However, again, the southwest coast could receive between 20 and 50mm over the next 7 days. Some healthy accumulations there from showers and much needed rainfall as well. Into the more alpine areas along the Great Dividing Range, some decent accumulations also possible up there. But again, we're not too hopeful for heavy rainfall. It's mostly sort of the snowfall that's kind of taken taken the taken the forecast up there with between 10 and 15 centimetres, but that pales in comparison to Tasmania. So up to 85 centimetres expected around Lake St Clair National Park. Some pretty good accumulations expected down there, especially for this time of the year. It's not unusual to get this kind of volume of snow in Tasmania, but we didn't really expect it this winter season. I did say a short, sharp winter with a violent end to it, which kind of happened for Tasmania, and a very sharp end for much of the remaining of the nation. However, it looks like Tasmania a little bit more reluctant to step out of winter at this time. And as with the winter forecast, we need to take a look at temperatures. They're going to remain cold throughout the course of today with this high pressure ridge. They will start to build, however, across New South Wales. It's going to go into the low 20s, quite a pleasant day across the northern part of the state and the northeastern corner of the state as well, into the mid-20s as well. Temperatures will continue to warm throughout the course of this week, especially into South Australia and the northwest of New South Wales. We could be seeing temperatures into the mid-20s through Tuesday, but it's going to be fast forward into the later parts of this weekend when the temperatures really do start to warm up there. We're expecting high 20s, even low 30s throughout the northwest of New South Wales and into the northeast of the state as well, around the Sunshine Coast into Queensland. Warmer temperatures expected into Victoria as well, up to 20 degrees for Mildura on Saturday. Those temperatures are going to warm up substantially throughout the early parts of next week as well, into the high 20s through Monday, and even the early 30s on Tuesday, the 24th of September. You can see temperatures expected to go up towards 32 outside of Burke and Cobar, and pretty warm into Victoria as well, with a passage of a very complex weather system that we're going to talk about at the end of this video. So yeah, that's just a little bit of interesting stuff now on the forecast here. Warm temperatures, heavy rainfall, snow, it's all happening across Victoria and Tasmania. And we will keep a very close eye on things on this forecast now, because it is starting to become very, very interesting, that's for sure, and very complicated as well, as I will explain at the end of this video. Now, in terms of rainfall accumulations up in the far north of Queensland over the next week, there are some healthy falls expected, especially throughout the course of today. We're expecting some good rainfall over the next sort of 24 hours up there, potentially 50 millimetres of the stuff as a bit of a shower band moves through. You can see it here on the radar imagery, just a massive stream of cloud pumping up into Queensland's far north, and that's bringing showers and the isolated thunderstorm up there as well. And these showers are starting to really add up, especially into the Daintree, where up to 50 millimetres is possible across some locations just outside of Mosman throughout the course of today. Now, taking a look at those rainfall accumulations once again, this is over the next 24 hours until Tuesday morning. You can see peak accumulation still approaching 25 millimetres up here and slightly wetter into the Daintree as well. And showers expected to penetrate quite far inland outside to Laura and Mount Carbine, where Darrell is waiting for some rainfall. Had a lot of dry weather out there. So it looks like the rainfall spread is going to be a little bit more even, at least over the next 24 to 48 hours. And as I do say pretty much every video, you can get away with doubling the rainfall accumulations up there and still getting a reliable forecast, just with how the rainfall works out in some of those mountainous valleys. And outside of Innisfail and Babinda, the wettest places in Australia, are expecting a healthy 50 millimetres of rainfall, which is just going to be adding to those soil moisture values, which are starting to become quite concerningly high across far north Queensland. We talk about it every single video, but when we're seeing soil moisture values of 100% up here, any further rainfall just is not needed. And dams and rivers, they're already full or flowing up in far north Queensland. It's September. We haven't started to receive those torrential onslaughts of rainfall that November can throw at us up there. So really significant rainfall accumulations are going to present for some pretty interesting challenges and problems up in Queensland's far north, into the Daintree, and especially along the Cassowary coast between Cairns down towards Ingham. It's going to be a very interesting one, that's for sure, and I'm expecting a lot of flooding right from the get-go this wet season. Any amount of rainfall on top of 100% soil moisture values is going to create some pretty significant problems up there. And just on the anomaly side of things as well, it's way wetter than average as well. I mean, we're talking about values about 2 to 3 times above average there. So again, it's not just the face value of the values up here. Considering it is tropical, we expect the values to be quite high, but they're actually much wetter than average, which is quite concerning indeed. And over to the Northern Territory now, where we will keep things tropical. In fact, Darwin has received its first rainfall in 4 months, 2 millimetres overnight. Catherine picked up a healthy 12 millimetres as well from showers and thunderstorms. And you can see on the satellite picture as well, there's still some thunderstorms lingering here and there, especially deeper into the Northern Territory between Tennant Creek and Alice Springs. There are some showers and storms there. A little bit of rain north of Alice Springs and a few light showers lingering around Catherine right now. The rainfall very hit and miss, very isolated at this time. However, it will pipe up again later on this afternoon and evening as the sun slowly sets over the Northern Territory. We'll be seeing some showers and storms fire up around Darwin, down towards Katherine, Daly River, and even across towards Humpty Doo as well. We'll be seeing some showers and storms fire up throughout the course of tonight, and they might even make it into Western Australia's Kimberley region. Showers will persist through Tuesday before easing off Wednesday morning for parts of the Northern Territory, but all of this is going to leave some pretty healthy rainfall accumulations up there. Just spoiled the end of the video, but you can see over the next 2 days we're expecting some reasonable rainfall accumulations up towards 30, maybe even 40 millimeters here, and it's reciprocated amongst the other forecast models as well. The Axis G3 calling for some pretty heavy rainfall, heavier than what the Eastern Reserve has, but it's got a thunderstorm bias, so we will take that into account. And some good rainfall around Darwin across to Jabiru as well, and into Kakadu, some good rainfall expected out there. So all in all, looks like a pretty wet run for the Northern Territory this time of the year. Mid-September, they're already starting to get some rainfall. I did say it's going to be an early northern rainfall onset, and it looks like it's just about to break. By definition, that is, not in terms of reality, where they aren't going to be seeing thunderstorms fire up for a good couple of weeks at least now in terms of consistent thunderstorms every night. But by definition, the northern rainfall onset could arrive sometime in the next 48 hours for some locations up in far north Northern Territory rather, where the first 50 millimeters of the wet season falls between sort of September and I think it's April, or is it May? It'd be start of May. The first 50 millimeters of rainfall is classed as the official start of the northern rainfall onset. And towards the end of this week and into the start of next week, from I believe it was Saturday onwards, we're talking about a ludicrous amount of rainfall to fire up across the Western Australia Kimberley region, into the North Interior, and even in towards parts of the Northern Territory and South Australia. And I'm just going to precursor this and say this is a horribly complicated forecast. I really don't know what to make of this system right now. So this forecast here is going to be a very, very rough first try for me. I've never seen a weather system like this in 7 years of looking at the windy.com models, so this is quite a confusing one at this time, and I'm going to have to wait and see on this for a couple more days until I can actually make sense of what is going on here. But I'm seeing multiple low pressure systems, multiple troughs jammed between high pressure systems and ridges. That's going to be firing up some showers and thunderstorms across the northwest of Western Australia from Sunday the 22nd of September onwards. Through Monday and Tuesday, we're expecting rain and potentially heavy falls across parts of Western Australia, right down into the Pilbara and even into the North Interior around Balgo and Kuakara, and then some rainfall expected to penetrate into the Northern Territory. It should remain south of Katherine and keep temperatures relatively cool as well. They'll keep them blisteringly hot across the northern parts of the Northern Territory, especially for mid-September. We're expecting temperatures to fire up into the 40s up there, and rain and potentially thunderstorms extending into the Northern Territory down to Alice Springs and even into the northern parts of South Australia around Mintabi, Coober Pedy and Oodnadatta right through Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But yeah, multiple low pressure systems and what could be a trough which connects to a frontal system, I guess, across parts of Western Australia is going to lead to this system here. In short, a huge amount of moisture is expected to stream into the state and provide the energy and the fuel required for these showers and storms to fire up. It is a really confusing forecast here, and again, I really don't know what to make of it. It looks like it gets moved on its way by a low pressure system and a high pressure ridge behind said system sometime into the middle parts of next week on Wednesday the 25th of September. But again, this is a really difficult forecast to make. There's so many moving parts to this system, and interestingly enough, I mean, take a look at rainfall accumulation values here from Saturday the 21st of September onwards. It's reciprocated between the other forecast models. I mean, the Eastern Weather from the Axis G3 is saying pretty much the exact same thing in terms of timing, pretty much the same thing in terms of location as well, and a very similar quantity of rainfall is expected to move through. And on the topic of rainfall, outside of Fitzroy Crossing and Halls Creek, up to 140, maybe even 150 millimeters of the stuff is expected. A very, very wet start to the wet season, a very wet end of September, that's for sure. And this could be the thing that kicks off those pulse thunderstorm activities across the Kimberley region into the early parts of October. So we're going to keep a very close eye on the weather scene up there in the northern parts of Western Australia. But in short, I think this wet season is just days away from breaking across much of the Northern Territory and Western Australia. It's going to be a really early start for them, in line with our forecast I made 2 weeks ago. But yeah, it's looking really healthy, this amount of rainfall that's about to stream through up up there. In short, no idea what to make of this weather system here. It's a complex forecast, and I haven't seen anything like this on the forecast models, not at least to September or October in many years of tracking the models on windy.com. So I will keep a very close eye on things on this forecast, and I'll be able to give you a detailed update on this sometime later this week or into early this weekend. So it's not going to be as much notice as what I would desire to give in a forecast. However, again, it's kind of the best I can do. This is a complicated tropical system here, and things are very uncertain, and a lot of things can be left out for the rainfall to decide in a weather system like this. But yeah, we will keep a close eye on things, and I will keep you posted. There's no better way to receive those notifications than by subscribing to the channel as well. Leave a like on the video if you haven't already. Your support lately has been greatly appreciated, and a special shout out to the channel sponsors. They're the reason I've got access to all of this fancy software, and I could not run this show without them. Thank you so much for watching the video to this point. If you do leave a weather report in the comment section down below, that'd be greatly appreciated as well. But that is all from me today, and I'll catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.